Hi listeners, I'm T, a mum of two.
And I'm Roz, T's mum.
Welcome to another episode of the Property Mamas UK podcast. In April, we attended the Property Investor Show at the Excel London. And in this episode, we're going to go over the 5 questions that we asked random people at that event. So the first question was flip or hold. Do you want to take this one, Mum?
Yeah, for me, it's hold. Do you want me to say why?
Yeah.
Okay, for me, it's a hold because property historically increases in value over time. You can also make a passive income by renting property. You still have an asset. So, there are kind of 3 reasons why I would hold. How about you?
Yeah, I would hold for the same reasons. That's why we do what we do, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I would also hold.
cool. Question 2, Airbnb or traditional rentals?
Yeah, so I definitely go for traditional rentals. There's lower operational costs, less management, and also traditional rentals typically involve consistent and reliable monthly income. So yeah, I'd definitely go for that. And also, I just feel like it's longer term for tenants. You're more likely to be able to find that tenant that is going to stay with you long term as well. And again, keep that income flowing for a longer period of time. So yeah, that's what why I would go for traditional rentals. And you?
So for me, again, yeah, I concur with everything that you said. The issue I have with Airbnb is the rapid and regular turnover of people. Each time people leave, you have to clean it, get it cleaned, sort out bedding, everything like that. It is a full on business. It's like almost like running a hotel. Okay, you're not responsible for food and that, but you still the upkeep of the property is regular, and that's an expenditure.
Yeah.
It's a regular expenditure that you're going to have to fork out. The daily rate might make it worthwhile, but there are also rules and about in some places about how long you can do an Airbnb for a year. I think in London it's something ridiculous like 30 days or something, or 60, I'm not sure, but out of a year, that's not very long. As whereby with a traditional buy to let or rental, as long as you've got good tenants, you can have a short hold tenancy for 6 months, but then you can renew as often as you want, as long as you and your tenants are happy to continue with the rental. So for me, just having that security and having that regular money coming in, it beats Airbnb for me.
The third question that we asked was single units or HMOs.
Where we're at the moment, for me, single units. Again, I think the work involved in a HMO is a lot more than a single unit. Typically, HMOs are rented out to students, or maybe people who builders or people who work in locally on contracts and things like that. So again, you haven't got necessarily that stable, regular flow of money coming in. And also, if the people don't get on with each other, I'm sure there's been cases where, yeah, that might be cause a bit of problems. But yeah, so for me, single unit.
Yeah,
How about
same.
you?
No, same for me. I mean, there's less regulations around single units compared to HMOs, especially in the areas that we invest in. I think obviously one of the areas that we've only recently started investing in is Portsmouth, and there are a lot of regulations if you want an HMO in that area. And Surrey, again, it's quite difficult when it comes to HMOs because it's not the target market around Surrey, in Surrey, is not for HMOs, it's for single lets. So it just makes sense for us, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the fourth question, I believe, was a book, a recommendation. So do you have
Yeah.
any recommendations?
So, funnily enough, one of the books that was recommended when we were at the event was Property Magic by, I think it's Simon Zucci or something like that. Um, Let me just check that. Yeah, I think it's Property Magic by Simon Zucci. And I've started listening to that on Audible. So I think, to be fair, a lot of the information that's in that book I know, but if I was like just going into property investment, it's definitely a good book to get you started. From what I've heard so far as well, they keep it updated with like from the for the current market. Simon Zutchi's Property Magic, yeah, I definitely recommend that. And also one of the ones that I believe you recommended to me when we were first starting out was Rich Dad Poor Dad as well. That one, I think it definitely makes you look at it shows you how you should be looking at business and how you should be looking at money and how you need to change your mindset towards things like debt. And yeah, that one's another one that I would definitely recommend. You got any recommendations?
Well, you said I mean, as you said, Property Magic was probably hands down the number one book that was recommended when we were at the Excel show.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Everybody seemed to be uh, recommend that one. I haven't read it yet, so that will be on my to-do list. But and as you say, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the one that follows that is The Richest Man in Babylon, is a couple that people recommended as well, and I did enjoy both of them. I know the Richest Man in Babylon wasn't your cup of tea, but
No,
yeah,
I
for
couldn't
me,
get on with that one, but
yeah,
yeah, I've
was
heard good
I
things and I tried, but yeah, I couldn't get on with
yeah.
it.
A book that I would recommend is Go for No by Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton. It's a small book, so easy to read for those who like reading. But alternatively, if you don't, you can get it on audio, I'm sure. The other book that I would recommend is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I've got that on audio, and one of the things that he recommends is that you listen to it or read it once a month. No, 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 no. I haven't been able to do that. I think I'm on my third listen in a year, so not quite once a month. But there is a lot of interesting things in there about mindset and how different types of people think and how you should be thinking if you want to create wealth for yourself. So yeah, I found it really interesting, and it has definitely helped me look at money in a different way, and wealth. So yeah, I would recommend that.
Cool.
And then last one.
And then the last question was, what's the best property advice you've ever received?
The best property advice that I have received. Don't think the kind of advice the advice that I've been given, I think works for not just property, but for setting up a business or striving to, you know, striving to do something new, or when you're entering something new, is, not to give up. There is a scale that is normal or natural when you're sort of like starting something new, and you start off in the holiday period, the honeymoon period, I think they call it the honeymoon period, sorry. And everything's new and exciting, and you throw everything into it, and then you get to about the 5 6 month mark, and or maybe about 5 month mark, and you're struggling, the momentum isn't there, and you're struggling to kind of keep that momentum going. And at that point, apparently, is where most people give up and start something else. They see another shiny penny and they go for that. So that's that hump point, 5 months. If you manage to get through that, things will start to happen. And what I have noticed, it doesn't necessarily happen as quickly as you would like, but it's a funny thing because when you put the effort in, slowly but surely things start to happen, and before you know it, it's bam 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 bam, everything's happening at one time. You're spinning, yeah, and it's just kind of like, oh, but it's taken off and you don't realize that this is through the efforts that you put in. But it works the opposite way as well. As soon as you stop putting the effort in, there might be a few things that happen because you previously put the momentum in, but because you've now stopped,
It comes to a halt, doesn't it?
it comes to, yeah, exactly, it comes to a halt. And then what happens is when you suddenly realize, oh, nothing's happening, you can then got to start putting all that momentum in again. So back to the best advice is plow through, carry on. If you got your mind set on something, go. Just carry on with it. And if you've got problems, if you've got hurdles, try and get through them and get support to help you to get through it, and even a mentor or something to help you get through those really challenging times, and keep the pace going, keep the momentum going. Don't just rest on your laurels and think, oh, okay, well, it's happening now, it's going to work, it's going to do its thing. No, you still got to put that effort in. So I don't know what the whole point of that was. I don't know what advice I was saying. Okay, if we break it down, just persevere.
Yeah.
You can cut all the crap, just persevere, and yeah, get through the humps. Maybe you shouldn't even say
Fair
that.
enough.
Maybe that's not right. But anyway, persevere.
Yeah, yeah.
How about
Um,
you?
for me, good advice that I've received on this property journey of mine. I've kind of got two or three actually that I can think of. Um, the first one is that mindset matters. It's when you are able to cultivate a growth mindset, that kind of puts you on the path to making decisions that will benefit you, I think. And having that positivity as well, it kind of helps you be resilient even in the face of like challenges and things like that. So yeah, definitely mindset, and also reading books as well, that will help you alter your mindset, because it's not easy to change from just from a 9 to 5 mindset to a working for yourself and generating passive income kind of mindset. They're completely different. um and secondly, um embracing patience as well, I would say, because property isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's one of those things that it does take time, it does take effort. And people who go into it thinking, oh yeah, I've got this bit of money, or I can make money out of nothing, I don't think that's quite the right way to go into property investment. I think, yeah, you need to understand that it's not a get rich quick scheme. It takes effort, it takes time. You're playing a long game. You've got to understand the market, got to be patient when it comes to growth over time and all that sort of thing. Um, and then my thirdly is educating yourself, because if you if you're planning on making a business out of something, you need to know everything about that business. You can't make a business work and you don't know anything about it. You have to know, um, you have to be continuously educating yourself, on the investment strategies and the exit strategies and the market trends, on financial management. You have to know how to do your due diligence and all that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah, that those are the three things I think that I've learned on this journey, and that I've been advised on in some capacity or another by various people, is that mindset, patience, and education are the three
yeah,
key things, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And you know, um, I was going to add a few things to it, but I can't remember what they were.
Fair enough. Oh
Yeah,
dear.
my brain's just fried. But yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I think, yeah, the two things I would add to that, well, I will reiterate the persevering, because obviously, as you say, it's not get rich quick scheme by any means. It takes hard work, it takes
Mm,
resilience, you have to persevere. And also something that it's new to me, although it, because I'm old school, is the social media side of it. I was surprised at how much social media um, input or plays a part in growing your business and
Yeah,
getting you out
yeah,
there. So, which I think is the next thing that we were going to be talking about is about,
yeah.
social
Having that
media.
social media presence, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think social media is going to be something that maybe that we talk about in the next podcast, and going over maybe some social media strategies, and also because when um when we were at the Leadscape event, isn't it? Lots of
Yeah.
people said that they struggled with social media. So I definitely think that's something that we can talk about in the next one. And on that note,
It's goodbye for me.
and from me.